Trump's tariff threats have some Canadians rethinking trips to the US, vowing to buy more Canadian products, and calling on this country to punch back with strong measures. We have some suggestions along those lines. We're joined by Hadrian Mertins-Kirkwood, a researcher at the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Some of your suggestions are thought-provoking, but start off with this proposal for a tax on our energy exports to America, an idea that Danielle Smith of Alberta is not keen on.
Yeah, the idea here is that there's a good reason that in Trump's initial foray, he said he'd only put a 10% tariff on Canadian energy exports, and that's because our energy exports are actually very important and, in fact, irreplaceable for a lot of the U.S., and that goes both for our crude oil exports in the West, but also our electricity exports in the East. And there's an argument to be made that if we really wanted to hit back hard against the U.S., you put in place an export tax from the Canadian side that would bring up the total tariff to 25%, so that U.S. consumers would really feel the effect. The big difference there being that instead of the U.S. government collecting that 15% difference, the Canadian government would connect that 15% difference, which could then be used for other programs to try and support, for example, workers and communities during this period.
There would be pushback, though, from the energy-producing provinces, though, I think, because they might be worried we would permanently lose market share for oil in the U.S.
Absolutely, there'd be pushback, and again, for good reason. Nobody wins a trade war, right? And the tariffs, whether they're imposed from the U.S. side or the Canadian side, are going to hurt workers, consumers, businesses on both sides of the border. But we need to recognize that's kind of the point. Certainly coming from Trump's perspective, it's put pressure on Canada. And for us to be able to fight back, we need to be able to put pressure on the U.S. as well. Now, of course, this isn't necessary today. We've bought a little bit of reprieve when it comes to tariffs, but this is one of those options that we need to have on the table in case we need it.
Here's one that is pretty out there, I think you've got to admit. Taking over U.S.-owned assets, especially in the resource industry. You argue that if Trump is going to declare economic war, American assets should be declared forfeit, and that we would take U.S. companies and capital under public control. I mean, that would be going pretty far. That's Cuba-type stuff.
It would be going pretty far, absolutely. And again, to be clear, it's not like these are all things we need to be rolling out tomorrow. But if we are in a situation of economic warfare, and it's really hard to know, what counts as economic warfare here, it's hard to know what Trump's intentions are. There's a big difference between a tariff to get a concession at the border versus a tariff as a first step towards annexation, which of course he's said out loud, but it's hard to know how serious he is. If that were true, if this was something akin to Russia's relationship with Ukraine, then you do what we did with Russia. You'd sanction the oligarchs, you'd freeze their assets, and so on. I don't think we're that far yet in Canada, but again, these are the kinds of things you need to have on the table if the situation were to get worse.
I do like that idea. Target U.S. oligarchs and Trump enablers. You suggest Mark Zuckerberg of Meta or Elon Musk, or there's plenty of powerful business allies of Trump that could be hit with sanctions.
Well, and Doug Ford, of all people, was the one suggesting that yesterday, canceling the contract with Starlink. That's Musk's satellite business. So again, there's an argument to be made that instead of something like an export tax on energy, because that would, of course, have significant political blowback, and it would just hurt regular people in the U.S. who have to pay more for energy. You could do more targeted moves that went after Trump's inner circle with particular sanctions or blocking X, for example, in Canada, things that would hurt Trump's inner circle directly and might have a more political impact, even if it had a more muted economic impact.
Here's one I think you will get pushback from economists on: enact price controls on essentials. I mean, I think a lot of economic orthodoxy would argue that price controls just don't work.
The argument against price controls is that it's true, they're inefficient often in the long term. And if you're doing it in a context where you're basically stifling competition and natural market forces. In this context, these are not natural market forces. And that's an important thing to recognize. This is there are no tariffs yet. But were they to be imposed, Canada would be in an economic crisis immediately, and it would not be one that's a natural market failure. It would be, again, a politically imposed crisis. And that means we need to think a little bit outside the box here, that normal market measures aren't necessarily what's going to solve an inherently political crisis.
Yeah, and I did make it clear. You're saying price controls on essentials in Canada that would otherwise surge because of a tariff war.
It's possible. It depends what the tariffs are on.
Sure.
So again, these are the kinds of things we need to have in our back pocket. It doesn't mean you lead with them.
This is fascinating. Jim Balsillie, you may know, formerly of Research in Motion and BlackBerry, has deplored Canada's, he says, lack of success in securing intellectual property. We're sloppy on that. But you say we could go after American copyrights and intellectual property, perhaps even say we're not going to observe them as a retaliation measure?
This is another one of those clever ideas that would hit, particular U.S. interests hard without necessarily harming consumers. So yeah, right now we sell a lot of brand name American drugs in Canada because they have intellectual property protections. And you could say, you know what, we're gonna invalidate those. We're gonna start making generic versions of those drugs in Canada, which would ironically actually reduce costs to consumers of pharmaceuticals in Canada, and then of course hit those pharmaceutical companies in the U.S. Is that a long-term solution? I'm not sure. But again, we're entertaining the universe of possible responses to what we might call economic warfare.
We're tight for time, but you argue that Ottawa has, over the past decade, pursued a half-hearted approach to industrial policy. And we know that billions of dollars of subsidies and government support have gone into non-carbon energy production of various sorts. But you think we should get more aggressive, perhaps, in building a green economy?
Yeah, and we don't have a lot of time. There's so much to say about that. But yeah, instead of kind of incentives where we're hoping the private sector buys into this transition, in this context where we're not only trying to move away from fossil fuels in the long term, but trying to decouple from the U.S., we're going to need some more public intervention, including in industries that may not be immediately competitive in the short term, but set us up for success in the long term.
It's interesting, yeah. Do you think we're in a nationalist moment for Canada? Do you think we might see unprecedented willingness to push back against the U.S.?
It's been interesting the last few days, I think. Certainly the patriotism is stronger than I've observed it in a long time. Whether that transforms into a form of economic nationalism, I'm not so sure. But it definitely feels like a tenuous political moment, but also one that could lead to a lot of exciting possibilities.
Thank you very much. We only touched on just some of your piece, but your article is titled "A Dozen Radical Responses to Trump's Economic Warfare That Go Beyond Canadian Counter-Tariffs." So people can look up the rest of it. Hadrian, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Hadrian Mertins-Kirkwood.